Today on Nova Legends podcast, I have Virginia Tech striker, now midfielder maybe, Samantha DeGuzman, who just finished her first year at Tech, and she's getting ready to start her second year and second season. Samantha, great to see you. Thanks for doing this again.
Yes, thank you for having me back.
Of course. Well, let me just remind folks of your record. Incredible. You were Washington Post Player of the Year at Colgan 2023. You had 28 goals, helped lead Colgan to the state championship. This year at Tech, you scored 3 goals and you had 5 assists. I believe that's right. And they were all really big goals. I think you scored your first game. You scored the only goal in the tie game. Just a really good freshman year. Samantha, did I get those most of that correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, look, first I want to talk to you about Colgan a little bit. I saw you at the state final when they lost some penalties to Freedom, who's fast becoming your rival. First of all, with Colgan, how, you guys lost 8 starters to graduation your year, and then Cam Winger didn't play this year, and she's still in school. But the talent level at Colgan is unbelievable. You still had Mia Coppers, Bree Bridges on defense, and of course Chase Rooney, all met goalie. How is there so much talent at Colgan that every year you guys are so good?
I don't know how there's so much talent, but I'm glad it's still there because to make it to 2 back-to-back state finals is really good for them. And hopefully they can keep the talent rolling in and just keep getting as far as they can each year.
Yeah. When you watch the Colgan team play, is it a much different team than the Colgan teams that you play? It seemed to be much more a defensive team than the teams you played on.
Yeah, it was definitely different, but whatever they had made it work to get to where they needed to be. But I just hope it keeps growing for the school.
Yeah. So when you watch a high school game, um, do you look back do you have you grown a lot as a player? So when you watch a high school game, you look at it like, wow, if I'd have known what I know now, would it be much different? And I mean, and you're a person who scored 28 goals your senior year. But does a high school game look differently to you now that you've played a year of college?
Yes, it actually does. Watching with some of old teammates and stuff, we look back on it and we're like, wow, after a year of playing at the college level, like high school looks so much different now.
Yeah. Well, let's get to a little bit of that, but I did want to talk about the game against Freedom. Uh, it was a game that went to a shootout, and I remember the last time I interviewed you, we both talked about how tall your goalie is, Chase Rooney, and I thought you guys would have an advantage in the shootouts, but they were able to win in penalties. But I thought Freedom had the better run of play in the first half, but then I thought Colgan in the second half looked like they were on the front foot and had a chance to get some goals. How did you see the game?
I agree completely on that. That is exactly how the game was. Unfortunate they lost in PKs, but they did put in a tough run. Both teams did a great job, but it was just Freedom's year. They created history for their school, so congratulations to them. Tough on Colgan, but they pushed really hard for it.
Now, I'm sure you know some of the players on Freedom. I'm sure you probably know Addie Hess, who's going to Penn State. So, do you know those players pretty well from high school and also from club?
I never really played any in club, just high school, but they're pretty talented players. So it's good competition.
Right. And so you thought, were you impressed with, I guess you guys had lost to Freedom. You guys lost to Freedom 2 years ago, and I think you beat them last year, right? Did it look like a different Freedom team than those teams you remembered?
Yeah, I think it's slightly different, but I just feel like with our last year's team, we were just had such great chemistry with each other that we were able just to power through a lot of schools last year.
Exactly. What about some of these players that they had this year? I mean, I mentioned before all the players you've lost to graduation in the last few years. And I know your sister Alyssa. I mean, there's just so many players. I think Alana Beasley's one of the players that graduated too. Um, and you know, this year the team was different. First of all, it was a very small team. Physically, they didn't look as big as I remember. Uh, but as a team, how did they play? They played much differently than your team played.
Yeah, I feel like they were more defensive this year,
Yeah.
but they're a very young team, so they'll still be there next year. They're only losing a few people,
Mhm.
and Chase, the goalie's still going to be there for one more year. So they still have her back there, but they were more defensive this year, working on that attacking part still.
Yeah, and your teammates, I think you played with Emma Rivera and you played with Cassie Villafan. They played with you. Were they starters on your team?
Yes, they were both starters, so
They were the only two who came back. Well,
yeah.
cool. It was great. It was hopefully, I guess Chase is only a junior. And Bray and Mia, it looks like as you said, the future is bright. Well, let's go to also I did want to ask you before we get to Virginia Tech. Did winning the state championship, does this still mean a lot to you after playing a year of at Tech and you're playing at a really high level in the ACC? Does that still mean a lot to you, the fact you're able to win a state championship?
Yes, it definitely does. Talk with my cousin who was on my team and a couple other teammates. Every time we go back to a high school game, we just think about how we actually won states. Like it's still so unreal to us.
Yeah. So no matter how successful you become in soccer, you'll always remember that state championship.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, that's great. Well, when you think about your freshman year at Tech, first of all, it must be a whirlwind for a freshman to you play your spring soccer in high school, you graduate, you go to prom, you guys had a long run to the state tournament, and then you start training, you play, it's a fall season, so you're right in the middle of the season, and it's compressed kind of like high school. It's 3 months of craziness, and you're going to college for the first time. That must have been a little overwhelming as a freshman student athlete.
Yeah, it was. Everything is just like go, go, go. Your life is so in routine here. It just like flies by. So you kind of just jumped right into it. And
Mhm.
it was just like fast paced from there on out.
Yeah. Did you ever look at your sister Alyssa, who's not playing? She might be playing club, but I believe she's not playing for Coastal Carolina. Do you ever look at her like, well, she's got it made. She's going to the beach, and she doesn't have to, worry about all the pressures of playing NCAA soccer.
Yeah, I do get jealous. She is at the beach, which is very nice, but she really puts her hard work into school and all that. So she's enjoying it. It stinks that she still doesn't play, but
Yeah,
she still enjoys being around soccer.
yeah. Is she ever tempted to drop for the team?
No, I don't think she has any thoughts on that. She'll stick to club.
Yeah. So, what was the adjustment to play in college? Um, when you have great dribbling skills and you have a very powerful shot, and so I went to see you play Georgetown, as you know, and right away I could see you were very comfortable and that you can get your offense going, and you felt very comfortable on the ball. Maybe it's not as easy as you made it look, but what is the adjustment to playing college soccer?
You're definitely playing against bigger, faster, stronger girls. So just coming in ready and fit is helpful. And then just keeping your confidence up. Like, don't think of yourself as a freshman. Think of yourself as just like another person on the team, just for your confidence on the field.
Yeah. Are there some things, I know last time we talked, you wanted to work on going left because you felt your right was your strong side. Um, are there other things, like looking back, knowing what you now knew now, that you should have worked harder on as a young player? And then you can also advise young players who are getting ready to start their college career, or maybe they want to play in the future. Are there things you can advise them about how to get better?
Definitely playing new positions because I am now a midfielder, so I have to make quicker decisions and just move off the ball a little more and all that. So just working on other positions and studying the game a little bit. And also just talking to older people, people who have been in a collegiate athlete's position and all that, just to get more feedback into what you're getting into.
Yeah. So why did you decide, or why did you and the coaching staff decide to move you to a midfield?
We play a 4-4-2 diamond, and one of my strong suits is 1v1 from that open area on the right side of the diamond. So they liked me attacking from that side, and it gives me a little more freedom over there.
Yeah. Yes. So the 4-4-2 will play a lot like a wing and a 4-3-3 at times because you only have two strikers. So you will be able to get up into the attack. And
Yeah.
I know you like playing the wing as well. So that would
Yeah.
be familiar to you. Is that right?
Yeah. I definitely getting thrown into it in the fall was a lot, but this past spring, I really like focused and studied on it. So a lot better at it now. Hopefully this upcoming season can do a lot.
Yeah. So when you play midfield, is it one of those things that you have to you play more first touch when you're playing the midfield than you can, or because you're playing on the outside, you still have some time on the ball that you'd have in the middle of the field? I mean,
Yeah.
as a striker.
Yeah, definitely quicker decisions like passing and then moving quickly to get it again.
Mhm.
Because like striker, I could take people on 1v1 or just set it and all that. But in the midfield position, I can just pass to somebody, get it again, and just move up and down the field that way.
Right. And the defenders are much tougher in college. They're bigger and stronger, faster.
It's much.
Yeah, exactly. But you adjusted to that. The fact that they're bigger and stronger, you scored early in your career, which must have made you more comfortable. So you were able to adjust to the speed of play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, well let's go to that first goal that you scored. It must have been incredible scoring in the first game, and that had to made you more comfortable. The fact that you're able to score in your very first game as a Hokie.
Yeah, it was. It was against Butler in Indiana. I remember it. Another freshman teammate, Anna Weir, crossed it to me and just volleyed it in. And with my teammates, I was just like shocked that I actually scored in my first game because I didn't see it coming, but I'm glad it happened.
Yeah. Well, what about the goal you scored? It was either the equalizer or the only goal you guys had. It was a 1-1 draw. I forgot who you were playing. Um,
Yeah,
that must
Charlotte.
that was a very important goal. So tell us about that goal.
Yeah, I was out there by myself screaming for the ball and I just saw open space. So I was like, I'm gonna take the shot. And it went upper 90. The goalie, I think, got one little finger on it, but she couldn't really do much. And I was like, I really just scored that goal.
Wow. Yeah. I felt like against Georgetown, you had a lot of really dangerous shots on goal from far away. I thought that you could have got lucky and scored against Georgetown.
Yeah, that game was, I felt like we dominated most of that game. Unfortunate how they scored their goal, but I feel like it was a really good game. And I felt very like confident and strong in that game, getting in the attack and all that.
Yeah. Well, one thing I realized at that game is that your other striker, your other goal scorer is Natalie Mitchell, and she's also a young player. I believe she'll be a junior this year. So it's incredible that you guys have so much production out of some of your younger players.
Yeah, it's definitely nice. Natalie Mitchell is very talented. She's our biggest goal scorer right now. So, and she's just a year older than me, which is good to have her around longer.
Yeah, yeah. I also was impressed with Eden Skyers, and I believe she was playing left back. I
Mhm.
believe. Um, Turns out she's from London. I looked at her profile. She seemed like a really clever player. What is it? I don't know if you know Eden that well, but what is it like for a Londoner to come to our country and play some real soccer?
It's nice having her on the team. We love making jokes with her accent just because it's fun, but she's a really good player getting up and down. It seems like she never gets tired from doing that, which is
Yeah.
nice, but she's really good at slide tackling, winning balls, and getting up in the attack.
Does she ever mention how the soccer is different in England than it is in America?
Sometimes she doesn't really talk about it much, but she enjoys being around here, but she also loves being at home.
Yeah. So, well, your season um, uh, went really well, as I said. You guys ended up losing an ACC tournament. What was it like when the season was over? Did you enjoy the transition to the off season where you didn't have so much structure? I'm sure you're still training and looking forward to the next season. But did you enjoy just kind of having a regular being a regular student for a while at Tech?
It's definitely an adjustment because we have a routine every single day, so it's kind of what do you do with your time when you're just doing school? So a lot of us miss being in season, just having that schedule and playing games, because now we have to wait a whole another few months to play again. So it's definitely an adjustment.
Yeah. How about the coursework? I know you wanted to be a marketing. You're going to be a marketing major, I believe, and I know you wanted to work with some sports brand, pro teams in their marketing department. Is that still one of your goals? And I understand you have a brand yourself that you've been showing on
Yeah.
Instagram.
That is still a goal of mine. I'm still a marketing management major. Still want to work with sports when I'm older, so still on that course. And I am working with a real company. It's a nice tea brand,
Yeah.
0 sugar, 0 calories, and it's really good.
That's awesome that college players can get a taste of that now.
Yeah.
That's something that's your generation is very lucky in that regard, and that you're able to start thinking about business and other things. Um, so when you think about your development, I know last year when we talked, you definitely wanted to play soccer at the next level if you could, and that was your goal, and it's always been your goal. When you look at college soccer, do you think it's a good path to pro soccer? Do you feel good about the direction your game is going in?
Yeah, I think going to college is definitely a good way to go to on the pro path. You're playing against a lot of people that end up going pro, because a lot of people I played this past season are in the NWSL now. So it's good to see that, get exposure that way, and hopefully I can have a great season and get some notice.
Yeah. Are you surprised that there are some players now on the women's side that are going right to the pros and skipping college? Does that surprise you? Do you think they're missing out on some fun opportunities in college, or do you think, if you want to do that and you think you're that level, maybe that's a good path for you?
I think it just depends on the person and what they want. I
Mhm.
know a lot of them still do school while being a pro, but I do enjoy having the college life because you're never going to get it back. So I like being here, getting my degree here, and then seeing what comes after that.
So there's nothing that makes you impatient. Like, for example, if you have a tremendous sophomore year, which I'm sure you will, it doesn't make you impatient for it to already be here. You're going to just play your soccer and enjoy your college life.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, well, that's great. Well, so there's been a lot of soccer on TV this summer. Actually, it's hard to get things done sometimes. And then we're getting ready to move to the Olympics, which is going to be great because on the women's side, our very best players tend to go to the Olympics, whereas the men's side, it's more of a younger uh, competition. Are you watching a lot of soccer? Have you been watching the men's competitions, the Euro and the Copa?
Yes, I have not missed a Euro game yet. Copa, I've missed a few, but that one's a little tougher to watch for me.
Yeah.
But I do watch a lot of the Euros.
Yeah, the Copa to me, it's like a food fight sometimes. It's like people are diving and they're fouling so hard. Everyone's yelling. There's fights in the
Yeah.
stands. It's just a craziness. And Euro is more austere. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
not saying it's perfect, but it's crazy the difference in temperament between the Euro and the Copa.
Copa definitely makes it harder to watch.
It does. It does. Um, when you watch the men's game, can you learn as much watching men play as you watch as you learn watching the women play? Is it very similar, or do you find the games very different?
I think they're still similar. Obviously, men are going to be a little more faster paced, but I really try to pay attention to my positions and just like different skills and movements that they do. But I just like watching any type of soccer.
Yeah. Is there a player this summer that you may not have known about, and all of a sudden you've watched them a few times and you've been very impressed?
Well, that 16-year-old on Spain, Lamine Yamal, he is crazy to watch. Like so talented at such a young age.
Yeah.
I just, like enjoy watching him play.
What's so funny is about I didn't know much about soccer until my son started playing 2010, when he was UA. And then I started watching it and getting to know it. And I think people that don't understand soccer, they see the lack of scoring and sometimes they don't understand what's going on. So they can't really appreciate it. When that 16-year-older, I believe his name is Lamine, I
Yeah.
believe, right. he got the ball so calm and just did a little feint one way and just kind of pushed the ball and shot it. It was such a small piece of skill, and he was able to get so open. And I mean, it was a far shot, but it's just an amazing piece of skill when you see a guy who's so calm. Because usually when people get the ball, everyone's jumping at you and you're in a rush to get rid of it. And it's just, I love watching young players like that show that kind of poise and that kind of skill level.
Yeah, and especially at such a young age, getting jumped into the Euros, starting for Spain, playing the whole games, like at 16 is just crazy.
That is just crazy. Does it make you feel like an old lady sometimes when you see a guy like that?
Yeah, in the Euros, there's like 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds. I'm like, wow.
You know, it is crazy. So did you have any thoughts on the US team? I know you haven't enjoyed the Copa as much, but were you able to watch them? Did you have any thoughts on how they played?
Definitely different from the World Cup that they played. I think they still have like a lot of growing before the next World Cup, but now they're looking for a new coach, so hopefully they get one and it just regroups them to play better.
Yeah, well, it can't get much worse. I mean, they have the players and they play well at times. I felt like maybe they're a little snake bitten. You know, the red card was unfortunate.
Yes, that was.
Yeah, so I think I definitely played a very good. That was Uruguay, I believe. They played them tough, so it was a shame. Well, looking ahead to the Olympics, I know that's probably a dream of yours to play the Olympics one day. What do you think about the women's team that's going over there this year? I know the rest of the world has caught up to our women, and not that we're still great, but there's a lot of other great teams in the world that are going to push us. Are you optimistic about our chances?
I think we can still go pretty far. We still have a talented group, and now the younger generation is starting to come in, and now they have a new coach. So I think that's good. But I think Spain for the women's side is going to give people the run of their money. But I think the US still has great talent to go far.
Yeah, I know Spain they won the World Cup and then they had all that drama with the coach. Did they end up
Yeah,
getting a new coach?
that I don't know.
Yeah, I imagine. I think they had to. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, they were really impressive. Are there players on the national team that you know personally that you've played with over the years?
Not that I've known personally. I just kind of keep up with them.
Yeah, and you're gonna are there any favorites from afar, like people that you like watching play and you've learned some things from?
I like watching Jaden Shaw up top at a young age. She's what, a year older than me,
Yeah.
and she's like succeeding pretty well with the US team.
Yeah, our U.S. team is very diverse. It's almost like Colgan. Colgan
Yeah.
always has African Americans, Latinos, as well as white players. It's always very mixed, and it's nice to see the U.S. Team have that kind of diversity. It's going to be really exciting to see. I did want to ask you a little bit about playing in the ACC, and we did not address that. Um, when you play in a Tech and when you get to the ACC in the conference level, is that a much higher level it is than when you're playing non-conference?
Yeah, it's definitely much quicker and more athletic. We can all feel the difference when we play a team that's not from the ACC because it's all different.
Yeah,
But I really enjoy being in the ACC.
yeah, it's a great conference. It's also great in lots of sports. It's getting a little confusing because you got some schools that are entering, and I think there's going to be some realignment, which I love. I like tradition, but it's going to happen. Well, look, Samantha, I'm really excited for your sophomore year. I know you're playing in Madison, and I don't live too far from there pretty quickly. I think that's probably your first games at James Madison.
August 18th, I think, is when we play them.
God, that's almost like a month away.
So it's
Um,
coming up quick.
yeah. Are there when you look at the schedule, are there any games you're particularly excited about? Like you may have old teammates or old friends on the other team?
We have an old friend on JMU. She was my old roommate, so we're excited to play her. Um, we're excited to play FSU this year because they're very strong,
Yeah,
great team. So we're excited to play them. And then we get to play UVA at home on Halloween, so we're excited about that.
that'll be fun. Well,
Yeah.
take it easy on UVA, please. Any fun road trips that you guys are taking on the when you
Uh,
go on the road?
we're going to Notre Dame in Indiana, and Northwestern in Chicago we're all excited about because we heard that's a really nice campus.
Well,
Well, I think we're on the road a few times this year. Like we go down to Miami, up to Boston College. So we have a few flights.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, look, Samantha, congratulations on an amazing year. It's also awesome that you've stayed close to your high school and you supported them. I'm sure it meant so much to the girls for you to be there and support them, and they played so well. But I just want to wish, thanks for doing this. I just want to wish you the best of luck this year. I love watching you play, and I'm really excited to see how you do this year.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
No, this is great. Let's keep in touch, and we'll talk soon.
Will do.
Okay, see you, Samantha.
Thank you.